I want to welcome everybody here, whether you're watching this live or you get the video recording afterwards, anybody who's open to the concept of helping to chip away at the 42 million people living with untreated hearing loss, you're a friend of mine, because that's what we're trying to do. I won't take you on the long and winding journey, but I met my business partner and my dear friend, Jared Brader, a long time ago, about 7 or 8 years now. And it's taken us a while as we've been working on how do we help more people. We've done a tremendous job at building up our practices that go from central Massachusetts all the way down to Utah. Each one of them individually is rated the highest ranked in their own community combined. We have ran the highest rated practice in the country, which is great, right? And something that I owe and Jared owes to the team for the work that they do every day. But we're still limited by those tiny communities. And my passion has always been, and Jared has helped me to get there, which is how do we help more of the 42 million people that are struggling with hearing loss and tinnitus, that don't know where to turn, that don't understand, do I need a product or do I need treatment? Is it worth the high value that all my friends tell me they spent all this money? God forbid they search the internet. That only confuses them even more. Junk mail. So the primary reason that most of the people, and I won't go into all the studies, but the primary reason why so many people sit on the sidelines and just deal with their hearing loss and tinnitus is because they don't have enough education. It's a lack of health literacy, and we owe it to them. And many of you know my story. My grandmother who died of dementia, who lost her hearing so bad in the last 10 years. I know it contributed to her cognitive decline. Yet, and if you're watching this, you know this, that the number one thing we can do for these 42 million people who are at risk for cognitive decline and dementia, we can help them to reduce that risk. The most important thing that they can do, but they can't do it without the knowledge, without the education, and without the why it's so important to address their hearing loss and tinnitus as early as possible. So we have come together, and I thank Jared, I thank Dr. Vinipal, I thank Eric and Mia Mounts, I thank Dr. Lane Garrett and his team, the founding members of this movement to help connect 1 million patients to private practice across the country. And I'm honored that you're here and you're looking to learn a little bit more about what this network is all about. Jared, what do you got to add?
I love it. I think it's one of the more ambitious things we've done together. And I really do look forward to diving into and sharing the details with those that are new on this call. And more importantly, those that watch this call in the next 18 months to 24 months, as we continue to unveil and build up the network, right? So if you're new today, thanks for being here on day one. If you're watching this recording 6 months from now, it's not too late to bring private practice together, to collaborate with us, and to take it to the next stage of connecting these 1 million patients with America's top specialists like you and your team. So thank you again for being here. And Keith, I wanted to dive in and share with everybody, what brought us to today, right? And a little bit more of the journey that we've been on together that goes all the way back from each of us having small little practices and what we've done together. Do you want to give a little bit of a background on yourself from, the time I met that scientist that was doing research at MIT in Massachusetts Eye and Ear Infirmary, and kind of your story up till today?
I mean, my story, I told a bit about my grandmother, and it starts there a long time ago. But to your point, when we met, I was maybe a few years out of my PhD, where I basically took 15 years to study in great detail exactly how the brain works, how the ear connects to the brain, how it connects intimately to the memory portions, the emotional portions, everything. Even developed next generation neuroprosthetic implants that I envision probably in the next 5 to 10 years, but really was hyper focused. And then I decided I wanted to get back to delivering great patient care. Well, I had that naive thinking that, well, I've got the credentials, I've got the know-how, I know I can do this. So I opened up a practice and realized pretty quickly that there really is a lot more to it when it comes to, there's a lot of information in my head, but I got to get it out there. And I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I want to be different. I don't want to do turkeys. I don't want to do widget mailers. I don't want to talk about the product. I want to talk about the service that I can provide. I want to talk about the value of early treatment of hearing loss and tinnitus. And that's, to me, at least, that's how I see when we came together and we were introduced by a common friend who said, look, Keith, you've got all this knowledge, you have this desire, but marketing perhaps isn't your specialty. And I think he was being nice when he said that. So I would love for you to meet somebody who's in hearing healthcare who really is a genius, a bit of a unicorn in hearing healthcare, who really comes from a business marketing background and understands the concept of let's get the education out there. Let's build long-term nurture funnels. Let's stay in front of our patients. And that's kind of how we came to be. And from there, wow. What haven't we done?
I always love the long-winded response. For those of you, that are new or seeing this for the first time, I go straight to the pictures on your screen, right? You have, and I say it affectionately, you have this nerdy scientist, this empathetic person that wants to treat more patients, and you have me, right? I came into this field as a business person. I came into this field to solve problems. I came into this field to do something that hearing healthcare has never done. And when I connected with and started collaborating with Dr. Darrow, it was putting the marketing and the science together. And I don't think there's any looking back, Keith, with what we've done in our own clinics, what we've done with coaching clients, and now what we're about to do with connecting 1 million people to local private practices that believe the same way and have that spirit of, treating the 42 million plus people. So, I'm the simple answer is look at the screen. You can see who the scientist is. You can see who knows the knowledge, and you can see who can bring that together for your practice, your business, because we are in business together. And we are in a place where we have to provide for our family, our friends, our loved ones, and our patients. So let's not forget the power of combining marketing and science. So thank you for the journey to this point, Keith. And I look forward to what EIA is about to bring in the coming, like I said, 18 to 24 months and beyond in this national network and push to reach more people for private practice.
Look, I think just before you hit the next on the slide, I think this is the future of hearing healthcare, bringing together like-minded, passionate, empathetic teams of healthcare providers across the country to provide the highest level of care, best practices, and to unite behind a vision and a mission of educating the 42 million people.
Fantastic. And I had to dig a little bit deep for this next part of sharing the journey of how we got to today before we talk about how we're going to go into the future. And I had to pull out this old logo of you. So I reached out to my graphic artist, Steve, over at Studio 7 Design and said, hey, I need that old logo of Keith's. And I did do you a solid. I didn't put the one that had all the balance and tinnitus and speech therapy on it. So if you look at this, Dr. Darrow and I met each other when he owned a practice called Hearing and Balance Centers of New England, and I had Intermountain Audiology, right? And we were both on this track that many of you are on today about creating your own practice, creating your own legacy, creating your own business. And what happened when we started to connect was we were able to wrap our minds around we're better off together. And so when we brought marketing and science together, we've now formed the Hearing and Brain Centers of America. And if you've heard much about our expansion plans, we're going into new states. We're off into Arizona and a few other out here in the Southwest. So the idea of connecting with like-minded individuals, which is what I think you're doing if you're here today live, or if you're watching this recording, is you're looking for your tribe. You're looking for your people. You're looking for like-minded individuals that can say private practice together is better than private practice alone. And if we band together, there's nothing that can stop us from OTC to insurance to third parties. So I wanted to talk about that, connecting. Keith, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I mean, you threw out those three letters, right? The O, T, and the C letters. And I think that while we're in the early stages and we're going to see some big players come and go, at the end of the day, what patients are looking for is someone they can trust, someone who can provide them with education, and someone who can provide them with value. So there may always be people, there will always be people who want to do it themselves. And that's fine. But when we're dealing with a major medical condition, what you're going to see with the coming and going of OTC is that people don't just want a widget, they want a network. And look, we get it all the time where somebody says, hey, I got a patient who's moving. I got a patient who's, going south for the winter. Like, now we can have a network of trusted providers that we can really rely on to help each other and help patients. So that's, when you say connecting, that's what I think about.
Yeah, and I would leave connecting at, we are all independent, right? You have your business, we have our business. And what that allowed us to do is we became the highest rated in the country, is we got the most Google reviews, the most video testimonials. We built the first automated system that is now run by a company called Helping Hand Automation and Marjorie Clark over there. What we did is we elevated ourselves to this position of, and honored by the fact that other practices, like many of you on this call or many of you joining in the future, that said, I want to run my own practice and I want some coaching. And so on the right-hand side of this screen here, you see that Odd Experts logo. And it's been a point of confusion for people of, Keith, we do a lot of things, right? We have a lot of brands, we have a lot of companies. And what we did is we went from connecting with one another to coaching others and helping lift up other private practices, being the champions of private practice audiology. And so I wanted to share with everybody that that is real. We are coaches. We do have coaching. We can help you with your mindset, your culture, your marketing, your science. But what today's call is about is really truly about collaboration, right? And what we can do together. If we band together, what we can do in unison, in tandem, by relying on each other and saying our common enemy is insurance, our common enemy is OTC, our common enemy is manufacturers, third parties, whatever it is, that by collaborating with one another, we get to have a synergy. We get to take a step forward hand in hand. Keith, I know you've seen this a lot in the last little while on your power of collaboration, your podcast, everything that the Dr. Darrow brand is doing. Would you like to share anything specifically on the interviews you've done with some of our members, some of those in the profession, and what it's meant for you, to be somewhat of a figurehead for some of these practices?
Well, I think it's really, I mean, it's always an honor to get to meet more and more like-minded professionals, and through the podcast, through my travels across this country, I've really been blessed to meet so many people, whether it be practice owners, providers, front office staff, manufacturers, right? And it always brings me back to treatment is a team sport. We're all in this together, and we're all in it for the right reason, which is why collaboration is so important. Let's lift our voice above the noise, no pun intended when it comes to hearing loss, but let's rise above, because we are better together. And through collaboration, I've just been fortunate to get to meet so many unique people that are all, we're all trying to get to that goal. And what we do through coaching really is is help them achieve that, right? The best players in any sport always have a coach. So we do that through Aud Experts, but through collaboration and building this network, it's even more powerful.
Thanks for that. And I wanted to take a moment to truly, you already mentioned their names and their impact, but Dr. Laura Vinipol from Professional Hearing Care, Dr. Lane Garrett from Timpanogos Hearing and Tinnitus, and Eric and Mia Mounts from Modern Hearing. They were with us a few months ago and took the first step to say, we support you guys. We support this initiative. We want to be at the front and center of leading the way to 1 million patients. And with their support and your support, Keith, we've been able to get the new website launched. We've been able to start building some automations. We've signed some deals with national advertising groups, but we couldn't have done it without their initial support, without them putting the money up front to really give us the launching pad and start building out the infrastructure of what everybody's going to see. Jared's marketing, wisdom, Dr. Darrow's science, leading the way in the next 18 to 24 months and beyond. So I just, very much appreciation to the three of them and to yourself, Keith, for, giving me the tools that I'm going to need to really help private practice through collaboration in the coming years.
Look, I think this slide, without reading, everybody's biography, but I think you get a great sense of, right, Eric Mounts, who's been in practice for 20 to 30 years, right? At what a consummate, what a gentleman when it comes to being a hearing instrument specialist, has always put his patients first, right? There's Dr. Lane Garrett, who's worked closely with Dr. Jasterboff and who really understands the neural circuitry, the rehabilitation required for patients with tinnitus. And then there's nobody more fun than Dr. Vinipal, who has helped us to make a connection with future audiologists, whether, essentially the excellence in audiology student liaison, helping the next generation understand best practices and the benefits of working in private practice.
Yeah, just thank you again. And for those that are new or those that are watching this 6, 12, 18, 24 months from now, if you pass them at a trade show at the American Academy of Audiology, at the IHS conference, when we get 2 years, 3 years, and 5 years from now, and you realize the power of this movement, just remember it wouldn't have started at this point without their support. So thank you again there. Just to get into the details, there's going to be a lot of you on this call. Some of you are, current clients, know who we are. Some of you are team members or watching the recording. There's about 6 common reasons that I would suspect that you're on the call today. And I just wanted to go over those, Keith, so that, those that are watching are here for the right reasons, understand what this network means, who it's for, who it's not for. Because we do a lot of fun and exciting things, and not every fun and exciting thing that we do is where your current practice is today. It might be 2 years from now, but where you're at today. So chances are you're here because you want more new patients in your practice or your office. Feel free, if you're live today, to put a thumbs up into the chat box. Say, heck yeah, that's why I'm here. If you're on a recording, chances are, that's why you're here. Another option that's very common is that you're worried about the future of private practice in the face of things like OTC, insurance, inflation, the rising cost of healthcare. Any other challenges out there, Keith, that pop up into your mind at this point that somebody would be here because of a fear or a challenge?
Yes, 2 through 6 are always fair points to raise. But every person we meet, even in our coaching group, every practice owner we speak to, what do you want? More marketing. What does that really mean? I want more butts in my seat, right? And through coaching, that's not, we will talk about it. We will help you develop strategies, but this is different. This is about providing you a way to actually get not only butts in your seat, but the right butts in your seat, the qualified patient who's educated, who's coming to you saying, help me. I want to start today. Don't send me home and tell me to come back. I want to start treatment on day one. They're that motivated. So if you want more patients, I would say, don't you really want more educated patients? Don't you want patients who understand the value of hearing healthcare?
I love it. And any other, you've had a lot of conversations lately. Is there any other fears on number two that are kind of coming up? Disruption, inflation, insurance.
So here's one of the most common themes, and I have been, especially since COVID has slowed down. We'll put it at that. I've been traveling a lot more, and no matter what conference I'm at, no matter what private practice I'm at, the conversation of third party comes up. Third parties destroying my practice. I was at 2 years ago, it was 20% of my practice. Now it's 80% of my practice. Third party, third party, third party. And I understand why people have opted for third party. You want to help more patients, but you're potentially compromising your own core values. You're potentially compromising patient care. And so this network is about bringing in that private pay patient who understands the value of hearing healthcare, because we can fight back. And again, the more of us there is, the stronger we can fight.
I love it. Moving on to number three, a lot of you like the fact that I think we're one of the only groups, one of the only networks that believes in an exclusive market, right? How hard is it to help multiple businesses in the same marketplace, or to provide leads for the same, multiple businesses in the same marketplace? So some of you might be here today because you want to lock in your market before your competitors do, or before, if you're like me, your brother's down the street, before he locks in the market. So there could be a reason there. Many of our members, Keith, are on today because they want to know, I work with you guys in a coaching sphere. What does that mean for me when it comes to excellence in audiology, and what do I get because I'm a coaching member? So we're gonna lay that out so everybody's crystal clear on, what they get because they're part of our other group, but what they could be a part of moving forward, whether that's now, 24 months from now, or even 5 years, when the national network is more fully deployed. And many of you want to grow your lead generation efforts by collaborating with others, as long as it's not a competitor, right? Imagine if, right, you had, like Keith mentioned, somebody in another state. We just had a great client in New York who has a patient moving to Las Vegas, right, and is looking for that like-minded professional that they can refer future business to, for current service. So some of you might be here for that. And there's others. And I think, Keith, this is where you and I are at now, because of our success in private practice, because of the honor we have to coach and work with others and share the blueprint and success that we've had growing and scaling our practice, is to leave this legacy behind, right? And whether that legacy is for your family or your friends or your coworkers or your teammates or your employees, or just because you want to be part of or do something bigger, better, and innovative. And so if you're on here today because you're like Keith and I, and you're ready to leave a lasting legacy on the profession of hearing healthcare, welcome. I'm glad you're here, and let's see if this is the right fit for you. So Keith, I talked with you last night about putting this on here, but oftentimes excitement gets people to want to join what we do. And my purpose for this slide is really to help everybody that joined the call realize who this is not for. And so I don't know if you want to go through what you've seen as you've interviewed practice owners, as you've coached them, as you've trained them from stage. Is there anything that stands out on this list that you would like to share and say, these are not the people who are ready for this national push today?
Yeah. Well, I think if you don't have to, but if you went back a slide, I would put on there people who have a solid foundation of a practice, but you're looking to expand the network, you're looking to collaborate, and you're looking to the future, right? Because excellence in audiology in our network will be a household name, will be a 1-800 contacts type of, brand name that people associate with value, education, and trust. So if you've got that foundation Excellence in Audiology is a great network. If your phones team is trained, if your providers are trained, if you're ready for an influx of leads, educated leads, Excellence in Audiology is right for you. Who it's not right for, and you're right, because I've met so many practice owners outside of our coaching network, and I think the word you put was desperation, right? If you're here because there's a new shiny object and it'll get me a few more leads and it'll get me out of debt. Like, if that's your case, no, let's talk about coaching. Let's develop a strategy and a blueprint to help your practice have a solid foundation so that you're ready for an influx of leads. So if you're struggling with cash flow, if you're opting to choose for third party and that's how you want to run your practice, I completely respect that, but I'm not sure that this is necessarily for you. Now, if you want to get out of that and you want more private pay, let's talk about coaching. Let's talk about strategies to do that, because we've helped practices reduce third party, right? If you're the type of practice who's struggling to get patients in all premium technology, well, then maybe coaching, because we want a solid foundation, right? We don't want to send you an educated lead that may not get the best value for their dollar, may not get the best treatment. So there really is this who's it for and who's it not for. And I think you want to kind of go through these slides, whether you're watching it live or virtual, to understand which venture, which stage are you in?
Yeah. And right, I know the lead generation of connecting 1 million private pay patients got a lot of people to join today and to watch this recording in the future, because everybody really does want new patients. And I wanted to put this slide in the first 20 minutes specifically to share that if you're coming in looking at the network, right, to help solve structural business issues or scaling business issues, it won't do it. But and I want you to draw that line, if you need coaching on mindset or culture or science or marketing or how to grow your current business or train your staff, go to audexperts.com. We'll talk with you offline. We'll get you on the phone with Morgan. We'll create a plan to help you now today with your private practice, where Dr. Darrow and I met in private practice, struggling, overcoming obstacles before we were ready to collaborate. But if you're already there and you have a strong practice and you know what your sales process is, you already have maxed out what you're currently doing and you have a growth mindset, then this is the network that's for you. And what I wanted to share here is this is for the practice owner that really does believe in abundance and growth, that isn't going to be nitpicky over the quality of the lead, right? This is for somebody that believes in the medical model, the trusted neuroscience, and the Dr. Darrow approach. This is for somebody who has tapped out their local marketing through coaching and best practices. This is for somebody that has a great phone conversion rate, a great treatment rate, and they're ready to now layer in regional or national advertising to get even more, to have an umbrella marketing strategy over the top of their local marketing strategy. This isn't for somebody that's going to be, blaming their team when the leads turn out bad and we're not prepared. You have to have a process from marketing to sales to treatment before this push is going to be ready for you. And you have to understand the lifetime value of a patient, and that even though you might get a treatment today that has a higher cost per appointment or a higher cost per treatment, that because of the education and nurture systems, because of the national network, because of the retargeting ads, because of the great vendors and automations that we have in place for you, the lifetime value of that patient is going to be much higher. So I hope that's crystal clear. Keith, is there anything else you'd like to say on who this really is for and who you want to work with in this venture?
I want to work I want to work with people who want to help more of the 42 million people, and they want to do it the right way. They want their patients to be educated. They want their team to follow a system Look, I mean, that one bullet point, number 3 on there, agree with Dr. Darrow's educational philosophy, which is really simple in my mind, at least, which is patient first, which is do everything right by the patient and your practice will grow exponentially. Provide them the cognitive screenings that they deserve. Do all the proper testing. Leave no stone unturned when diagnosing your patient, and leave nothing on the table when it comes to providing them with the best treatment possible.
I love it. And you have, we have an accreditation process, and I know you just finished kind of a site visit assessment. So, if you're looking at these bullet points and you're kind of on the fence, does this fit me? Does this not fit me? I don't know what they mean by this bullet point. We're definitely going to follow up offline, and you're going to have a conversation, with myself or Dr. Darrow to say, hey, maybe we need to fix some things internally before we're ready for this new initiative. And that's absolutely okay. I'm in my 12th year of this journey. As you mentioned, some of the founding members have been doing it for 20 and 30 years, right? And so once again, if you're not ready for this network today, that doesn't mean you're going to miss out an opportunity. Let's fix the internal systems and process first. Let's fix your mindset, your culture, your marketing, and your science before we say we're all in, we're pot committed to this network as we move forward. Keith, I wanted to share for those that are new, that haven't seen it before, if you could give us just the short version of, the content that we've created. We just spent another 6 months creating videos. What does all of this mean for you, and how did you incorporate time at MIT, Harvard, Massachusetts Eye&Ear, Brigham and Women's? Where did you bring this science and then have that intersection of marketing with me and say, this is what the future of private practice needs?
Look, I remember vividly exactly where we were. When I got off stage, I had just spoke to a room of about 120 patients. And I think you knew I was tired because we had been traveling a lot. And you said, Keith, you can't, right? You're at maximum. You can't get in front of the 42 million. I need you to hunker down, and I need you to take what's in your brain. I need you to take all the education, all the science, and I need you to get it out on paper, to get it in emails, to get it in a book. I need you to get it out there so that you, the marketing guru, can help spread the good word. And it's been miraculous to see it go from just all the thoughts that are up here to my second book. My third and fourth are already in the works, because it's okay. I talk to more patients. They have this problem, so I want to specifically target this in a book, in a magazine, right? Because you have to be omnipresent when it comes to educating people. They need to see you multiple times. I mean, I don't mean to teach you about touch points or marketing, but you've been able, whether it be digitally, books, online, I mean, the magazine, the online website, all that information is there, and it carries that same message of our base is neuroscience, and what you experience is remarkable patient care when you come to one of our member clinics.
Thank you for that. And I think I wanted to share with everybody, right, as a business owner myself, having a private practice in multiple states, having the honor and privilege to coach others from Alaska to Hawaii to Maine to Florida, right? You get to a point where you have to decide, how do I scale this? And we've tested it now in over 60 clinics, right? In multiple states, rural, suburban, city life, like anywhere and everywhere you could imagine. And we have a profitable ROI. The pieces work, the message works, the automation system from Helping Hand works. And so now it's much easier for me to start doing things on a regional or a national basis, because I don't have to swap brands. I don't have to make 7 versions of each piece. And so for me, as I scaled into multiple cities, multiple states, for me, the point came is, well, if I'm going to do it for my own clinics, why can't I do it in collaboration with others? Why can't we reach those 42 million people instead of having all of us working not in tandem? And so you're going to see the proven results. It's not new stuff. It's not a new test. It's just testing on a larger scale regionally before we roll out nationally. And so if you have questions on that, we'll be happy to answer it in the end. If you haven't seen Dr. Darrow's books, our national magazine, our website, our videos, go secret shop them, go see what it's like, and make sure that you do agree and that those are the educated patients you want showing up in your practice. I did, Keith, want to dive into, right, what is the investment required and where is the line in the sand between what a current coaching member or person in our community gets? And so I wanted to take the chance to walk everybody through it. As an Odd Experts coaching client, so if you're not ready for collaboration or you are a coaching client up till this point, you've heard you're going to be part of our network. You believe the same way that we do. You're here with us. And so you are listed on the excellenceinaudiology.org website. And if you go check that out, you're going to see your listing currently. You're going to see your geolocated listing. You're going to see your tracking phone numbers. You're going to see your tracking website. All of that is built out because of our great founding members. What they did with their initial commitment, their initial investment, was allow us to get the infrastructure built, get the call tracking system set up, work with Helping Hand Automation to get it integrated with our website. So you have call tracking. You also get the Excellence in Audiology door decal, office posters and signage. You get approval to use the Excellence in Audiology network in your marketing. And you're going to see that that becomes a bigger and bigger trust and authority piece as it becomes more well known in the other marketing we're going to talk about here in a minute. You also get access to digital retargeting ads. So anybody that comes and views a Dr. Darrow video, a symposium, the website, a white paper, those people are going to be retargeted everywhere they go digitally. They're going to be retargeted on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, 60andMe, everywhere else that they go. So that retargeting is all built in, and that investment for your practice is a $24,000 value. And it's included as a coaching member. So if you believe, you work with us, we're helping you, we're growing you to a point where you're ready for the next step. That's all included. And I thank you for your trust to this point, and I'm glad to have you along for the ride. Anything else on that, Keith?
I think you just, I'm picturing more of if you had a background where there was literally sand and you drew a line. But I think your point is if you're with us, if you've been on this journey with us, you're automatically included, and there is a tremendous value. And I know this because I've already heard from people in our network talking about the leads coming in. And I mean, we've done some marketing in specific areas, say northern Utah, and we get phone calls from Texas and Wyoming and California and New York. So this national push is working even at the basic level.
Sure. And just like I've said from the start of today's call, remember, you and I now have this history that every time we launch something new, it takes about 2 years for people to generally accept it, right? I remember years ago sitting in a major manufacturer's office and you were talking about dementia and you'd have thought you were an outcast, right? And here we are today in this profession where a company like CogniView is taking off because of cognitive screening. So I think everybody needs to realize the level of innovation and the future vision of the EIA network and what the goal here is. Because if you think, once again, that you need leads yesterday, this isn't for you. But if you're ready to move forward, if you're ready to add a regional and national level, then this is the future. So just keep that differentiation. If you're ready to level up and you don't want the basic membership that comes with coaching, or you already have a great practice, you don't need coaching, you don't need to work with us, what you're probably looking at is an accredited membership. And in the accredited membership, you get everything that you get in the basic membership, but you also get a featured listing on our website, right? You're going to have more data on there. You're going to have more unique selling propositions. You're going to be highlighted. You're going to be the provider of choice in your area. You also get access to our regional and national advertising and lead generation systems. So what I'm doing, instead of buying only marketing in my local town or city, I'm now buying advertising media in states or regions or even nationally because we're better together. And if we can combine our marketing and education dollars together, we can actually reach more of the 42 million people, and we can actually challenge some of those bigger institutions that have a bigger war chest than we do individually. You also are going to be added to my landing pages. So we have some vanity URLs that we use on Dr. Darrow's articles, YouTube channel, national TV, the America's Audiologist magazine. And these are specific hidden landing pages that are direct calls to action. And what this allows you to do as an accredited member is your city, your state, and your opt-ins will be connected. So if somebody wants a provider in Canton, Ohio, right, they're going to find this landing page with a vanity URL from our lead generation efforts. And that lead is going to get zapped across the World Wide Web into that client, that member, their automation system. And we can only do that because of the great support from Marjorie over at Helping Hand. We can now take our efforts and zap them into your practice. And that comes with accredited members, not with basic members. You're still going to be found on the website, but these are special landing pages that are basically a pay for play. Because of your investment, because of your collaboration, because you're willing to work together, you're going to have these funnels in place to generate you more business. In addition, we have first-year specialty campaigns that have already been signed or are in the process of being signed. And that's American Airlines TV, so everybody on a flight. You're also going to be listed in the first printing of America's Audiologist magazine. This is a great tool we've used in multiple states in my own market, and we called it the Southern Utah Audiologist. But now we're doing it once again on a national basis because it's scalable. The printing cost is lower, the mailing cost is lower, the vanity URLs are better on a national basis. In addition, in late third, early fourth quarter of this year, we will be having a placement in AARP products, media products. And in that listing, as an accredited member or as a founding member, for those that got us started, you're going to be listed, right? And now you have the rights to be as seen on AARP. So once again, collaboration is a new currency, and we're able to grow because we're working together for private practice success. I know, Keith, this one's you specifically, but you wanted to talk about some national research studies, the future of your research. You want to take this one?
Apologies. In the last, what has it been now? I think we've been 5 years. What we have been doing, because right, one of my other jobs is being full-time professor at the university, and I have students that are always interested in learning more about the field, learning more about the impact of hearing loss, and I'm always looking to get as much data out there as possible, not just for everybody in the field, but specifically for people in our network. So you can actually turn to your patients and say, look, this is the data we've collected. This is why this new treatment option is so much better, X, Y, and Z. So what I'm committing to over the next, however many years is continuing to run these research projects where you will be part of this process. And what that means is national advertising and marketing campaigns, bringing in patients that are part of a study. So I get your data, right? That's my selfish side of it. I'm going to get your data. I'm going to have my students analyze it. We're going to come up with some great data, be able to present it at national and international symposia. And you get to have patients in. And I mean, you could speak to the revenue generating side of being part of one of these studies, Jared.
Yeah. And I know it's been a part for basically basic membership in the past, Keith, but I also know we've run into process issues. We've run into data quality issues. So is that why we're moving it into the accredited, so that we know that there is a very controlled scientific experiment?
Exactly. So for example, the last study we ran, we had to reject over 200 patients because the process was not well followed. And so I'm definitely looking for practices that have more of a commitment and will ask more questions if there are issues along the way. And so we're really going to double our efforts on making sure that these studies run well and that we get to use all the data. And so that's part of the rationale for moving it over so that we have more resources to do them the right way.
I love it. And I mean, just so that everybody knows, right? We go back to that first slide of marketing meets science. And there is an invaluable amount, Keith. I can't even put the number of millions in revenue generated because of the connection with you, your science background. And I'm going to challenge you again here today, right? I want more at Mass Eye and Ear. So you're going to have to get back in the lab.
Absolutely.
In addition, on the accredited members, you're going to have access to what we shot was a professionally shot Excellence in Audiology member video that highlights the importance of empathetic authority, trusted authority, national presence, and a very specific set of content that you can put on your website that endorses you and makes you become the differentiated authority in your marketplace. So you're going to have access to that as an accredited member who's agreed to, right, the belief system, the mindset, the culture that we have for our network moving forward. And we have a plan for a celebrity endorsement. So Keith told me, I think I should probably not overpromise, but was it Tom Selleck that you're going to get? Anyway, we're gonna find a national celebrity for endorsement. And so, right, besides the scientific of the neuroscience from Harvard and MIT, right, we do need somebody leading this charge with us across the country. And so that is in the pipeline for a celebrity endorsement. Probably not Tom Selleck unless Keith can get him on the podcast. To start.
Well, I mean, look, along the way, I mean, we have it in some of our own patients who are celebrities in their communities and beyond. I mean, for example, we have a former Fox News host who is praising the services of this network and the value that has been provided to him. I know I recently interviewed him. I'm just drawing a blank now if I actually posted it or not, but it's a great story. And yes, we will certainly have more and more voices speaking to the value that this membership provided them.
Yeah, and your investment, and like I said, the investment of the founding members and the efforts of Keith nationally, regionally on interviews and building and collaborating is what's going to allow us to pull that off. And so as you see those things roll out in the next 18 months, 24 months and beyond, just realize that is the vision for the future. And because it makes sense for each of us locally in our own market, as well as regionally, as well as nationally. And so it's something I'm going to be doing anyway. It's something I need to do for my practice anyway. And by partnering and collaborating together, we can do it at a better scale, at a more efficient price point, and we can reach more of those people, which I think is each and every one of our visions together. As far as the details of regional and national advertising campaigns, you're going to see products coming out, media coming out in direct mail, television. Some of our coaching clients are already using some of our first television commercials, and they're having great success. So direct mail, television, radio, podcast, YouTube, native articles, content blogging, Google ads, and social media. And I think, Keith, it goes without saying because, we've been in this so long together, but the level of content that you are putting out today is mind blowing. And I thank you for that, even though it's probably benefiting the network as a whole more than my individual practice today.
No, absolutely. You have, you've given me a voice and you've given me that opportunity and that push to get the knowledge out there. And I mean, specifically, I mean, I'm just to tell a little story, 60andMe, I've recently become an accredited contributor on their website. It is the country's largest over 60-year-old female blogger content website. And just publishing a few articles there and seeing the comments that people leave, the emails I've received, It's just great to be able to have this influence on people. And already they come to me and they ask, where can I go locally? Right. I mean, it's in the tabs and there's that information, but that question is just so, yes, you're going to do something about this. You learned something that has motivated you to go and seek more information. It's great.
And as we scale out the infrastructure behind you, you're going to be able to produce more. And, you know, I think a huge thank you goes to Kim Garrett, one of our founding members, for bringing that connection to you, right? And that is the power of collaboration, where Kim said, look, this would be a great place for Dr. Darrow to lead the national charge. And he's the one that has to produce the content, maybe not me, right? But it is a benefit for the whole. And so we're no longer in this scarcity mindset of we're all trying to do the same things and we're all not doing it as well or as efficiently as possible. So just thank you there. There's much more content to come. As we dive into publicists and assistants, I know that you will even be able to 10x it again. So thank you.
All right, let's do it.
On behalf of myself and everybody else. The first year investment for this, right? And so this is where it gets really tricky. The first year investment is $60,000 to be the next level. You're not a founding member, you're an accredited member of the network, and you get everything we just outlined. And what this allows you to do is say, heck yes, I'm all in. I'm going to collaborate with other great practices around this country, and we're going to move the needle forward for lower affordability, right? Higher acceptance, and helping more of the 42 million people receive the treatment they need. Of that investment, here's what we're going to do today. Is if you want to pay it in full, there is 10% discount for payment in full. And because you're here today live in person, you're going to get 18 months for that first investment. So you're going to get all of this year, 2022, and all of next year, 2023, for that investment. What this is going to allow us to do is scale up our content production, get better placements in things like AARP, national marketing, national ads. So 18 months for the price of 12. Now, here's the caveat to a network. As you start working together, the more people that join the network, right, the more we're spreading out the cost of advertising. So the goal here for accredited members is that you're introducing more people to the network, and we're spreading those costs across more practices in this country to make it more affordable for all of us and to produce one singular message to help more people. The other part that comes with this is some people that are in the network might want more, right? If you're like me, you spend $1.5 million a year on marketing and advertising. So this investment isn't enough for me, right? But you have to realize, for the vast majority of accredited members joining, we got to start small. We have to prove the model. We have to show you that you're going to get people. You're going to get educated patients. And in the future, you might say, this works so dang good, I want you guys to 10x it, right? I'm ready to spend $1.5 million too, Jared, because I realize the power of collaboration. So just know, and it's in the disclaimer there, that number will fluctuate in the future based upon the number of people in our network. The more people in the network, the better, and the more we want to spend. Something like AARP is up to $365,000 for one placement. Figure what that is to spread across the network. So the more we can do organically, the more Dr. Darrow is producing, and the more we can do on a national basis, the better it is for you and I. If you're interested, you can do two things. If you're ready to collaborate with us, you can scan the QR code, you can pay the first month refundable dues, and then we can hop on the phone call and make sure that we're the right fit for you. And if you're not ready, that's fine too. Realize that it took me 12 years to get here in my private practice. And I'm finally comfortable because of the team around me and the support I have to be ready to take it higher. And just because you're not ready today doesn't mean we don't want to work with you. We are the champions of private practice. We want to help you. We want to grow your practice. We want to make sure your practice is great. And when you're great and you're ready for it, we want to collaborate and take it national. I have a break right now for some questions. If Keith, you want to close anything out, I do have time for questions. Just from a scalability standpoint, for the amount of work that this involves for me to integrate your practice with the website, with the map functionality, I'm probably looking for no more than 5 the rest of this year. So that's probably pushing it. So I'm looking for 5 accredited members still this year, and then we'll scale up next year and years beyond.
Thanks, guys. I'm super excited. Eric and I are really fully behind this. We've seen the power of everything you guys do. You're amazing. I get nothing out of saying this other than hopefully a fantastic network. We got to drop off here, but I know you're going to pick the right practices to bring on to collaborate with us. And as Keith mentioned, you know, protecting the, you know, kind of the professionalism and the excellence that that we're after here. So we're really proud of this group. We're proud of you guys, and we couldn't be more thrilled to see the future transpire.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Thank
support.
you for exactly.
And we'll make sure nobody's opting in your backyard, Mia.
Appreciate it.
No, thank you so much, Mia and Eric, for everything you guys have contributed to our network. And I know the amazing work that your team does. Your boots on the ground every day. You have changed countless lives in Northeast Ohio, and for that, I'm grateful.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Rock on.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, other thoughts or questions? I mean, what you're seeing on the screen now, if you can go back one, Jared, what you're seeing is we're already in these places, right? This is what you're looking at. This is the network that you are agreeing to join. And hey, if you have the budget to do it all yourself, then, well, you're probably not even on this call, but more power to you. But what collaboration does is it gets us to spread. Look, I've said it for a decade. It gets us to spread the Got Hearing campaign and really get out there and have a voice.
I love it, Keith. And I mean, like I said, if there's a couple of questions, right, chatted in, one of those being, you know, what kind of assets do you deploy, right? How do you fill the funnel? What does the artwork look like? And that's why I'm sharing some of these, you know, very, very high level proof of concept pieces. This particular one is a picture of one of my doctors and a patient. It's a co-branded retargeting ad with Excellence in Audiology and Intermountain Audiology. These are video ads, which might not play very easy for me on this, but it's basically, how do I choose a specialist in my area? And how do I know this is the right treatment for me? So I could, oh, there they go, they're playing. So I have more examples if you're interested. Like I said, if your practice is where you want it to be, if you've worked through the mindset, the culture, the science, and the marketing, either with us as your coach or with somebody else as your coach, and you're ready to be part of, right, regional and national advertising, reach out. I'm looking for about 5. If you're not, and trust me, it took me 12 years, right, Keith? You and I went through our ups and downs of owning a business and running a practice. It's not something that happens overnight. We're not gonna banish you because you're not ready here today. But what our job is, what my job is to help you reach the vendors, have the coaching, have the tools to make your practice stable and successful enough so that you're comfortable with collaboration, right? And it reminds me personally of, you have to be an independent person before you can be interdependent. And it's the same with your practice. Your practice needs to be stable and strong and operating to its max before you will be a great asset to the network, right? And so if you need help with marketing, if you need help with lead gen, if you need help with science, if you need help with your phones team, we are here for you. We have a trainer, we have coaches. We would love to have you in the coaching group. If you're already in the coaching group and you need a little bit more help to feel stable, to have the cash reserves, and to be part of a bigger legacy, reach out to your coach, work with Morgan, work with myself, and let's get you to that point so that we can all rise together.
Jared, I know one of the questions that I've received is, and specifically looking at that middle picture, the co-branded. Is co-branded a strategy moving forward, or is that just something you tried, or tell me about that? Because
Yeah.
people don't want their name to completely drop off.
Correct. So there's two different elements in marketing, right? So visitors to your website. Now I'm getting into coaching mode, right? Visitors to your website are tracked, right? And those people can be retargeted to with a co-branded ad. And what that allows you to do is to take your local trust and authority and combine it with a national trust and authority. And now you've glued those two things together. Look, this is no new concept. It came from the Better Business Bureau. If you go back years, everybody said, are they listed on the Better Business Bureau, right? And I'm going to tell you today, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, they're going to say, are they part of excellence in audiology? And so you want co-branded ads for the people that visited your practice who chose not to work with you. And now we're going to take them from a regional and national approach and say, you made a mistake. You need to go back to those people.
And so the next thing I'd like you to coach on is the concept of, well, wait, I was always told to build a brand and a practice that was very, very, very unique and very niche and very like, I need to be different. And dare I say, I don't want a patient to see Dr. Darrow and then come into my practice. So talk through that.
Yeah, I mean, look, you do want to be the go-to place in your market. And if all things were being equal and you had millions and millions of dollars, I would tell you to spend it and try to be the Coca-Cola, the Bose, the Tesla, right? But unless you have a 100-time bigger budget than I do, and I have a pretty darn big marketing budget, you're not going to be able to do it. And so now how do we merge? You are the local empathetic authority with this bigger presence, because as a network, we're going to spend more money than you are locally. And now I have the trusted endorsement of Dr. Darrow, the only Harvard medical and MIT trained neuroscientist that's practiced audiology, who's the founder and leader of this movement, and is giving his blessing, his science, his authority to my practice in Wisconsin, to my practice in San Diego, to my practice in Hawaii, right? And so you can have both. It's not a mutually exclusive thing.
And then, like we talked about, there's going to be the next level above, which is the celebrity endorsement.
Correct. And one thing you have to know about, right? Trusted authority, there's an authority, and then there's celebrity. And the best example I have of this is the Kardashians, right? Are the Kardashians an authority in anything? No, but they're a celebrity, and a celebrity comes with big bucks. A celebrity comes with recognition. A celebrity comes with a national presence. And so when we can combine the fact that we're going to put you, Keith, I'll say it here today, Dr. Darrow will be on the doctors. Dr. Darrow will be on the Today Show. Dr. Darrow will be on Oprah. Dr. Darrow is going to go national. Because as a group, as we collaborate, and as my focus goes from one office here to 2 offices here to a nationwide network, we're going to do it, right? And now you are going to be out there saying, here's who you go to. Here's who you go to in that city. And you're already doing it. But now imagine doing it with the power of this network behind you. Any other questions out there? I know we're a few minutes over. I appreciate you being on live. Like I said, there's going to be some of you that are ready. There's going to be others that need to fine tune some things in your practice. There's going to be others that want some access to our marketing, our coaching. We have a myriad of ways to help you. So wherever you're at in your practice journey and what you want out of your business and your legacy and your team, reach out to us. If you need coaching and need help in your practice, go to audexperts.com. If you're ready to take what you've done successfully over 20 years, 5 years, 10 years, and join together in collaboration, then you can scan the QR code on your screen. We can have an interview and decide if we're a good fit for each other. And if you're one of those 5 practices that's going to be starting out as accredited members as we move into the next 18 months, 24 months, and beyond. Thank you all for being here today. If you're on a recording, the QR code will continue to work. AUD experts will continue to work. We look forward to continuing to be the champions of private practice, the highest rated practices in America, and now bringing that power and collaboration to you through the EIA network. Thank you all for being here.